Howdy folks, Stutz from Stutz Outdoors. This is what I'm dealing with. It is the middle of April, and this is the second snowstorm this week. Really don't. This is just ridiculous. It has been cold off and on all year so far, and this snow is actually accumulating. As you can see on my deck here, it's piling up. So hopefully, I guess that gives me more time to do some editing, so maybe I can get some of these videos out for you. This video that I'm working on right now is a video I've actually promised people like 2 years ago, and just got busy with work and stuff and haven't been able to get it out there. But hopefully now, with the virus going around and of course this cold weather, maybe I can get it actually done finally. And so hopefully that's what's going to be after this. So hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. So I was out here on a very windy and overcast day in December of 2017 and fishing a small square bill crankbait for big trout, and I've hooked up with a monster trout here. Probably the biggest trout I've ever caught ever in my life. And this thing jumped out there and it was like, whoa, this is a big one. I'm just using a 6.5 foot spinning rod with it's an Akuma, like 2,000 size reel, and 8-pound line. And this fish just takes me on a ride here. Unfortunately, this was before I had the external microphone for my GoPro, so the audio is not very good. So I'm just gonna have to narrate this for you and take you through what happened on this day. I thought it was gonna be a really fire day. I thought the trout would really be biting good here, but it ended up being very, very tough. I fished for a long time before I hooked up with this fish. But when I finally did hook one, it was a monster. And this fish is wearing me out here. These big trout, they really fight. And just when you think you got it wore down, then it goes on a run like that and just starts ripping drag on you. Starting to think about what I need to do to land this fish. So here I go, going for my fish gripper. I haven't really talked about it, but I use this fish gripper for two reasons. One is so I can handle the fish as little as possible. Fish, especially these trout, have a really good slime coat on them, and these trout are really slippery to hold onto, for one. So I use this fish gripper so I can lock that in on their jaw, and I can just handle them so much easier. It makes it a lot easier to unhook the fish, and it's a lot safer for me when you got this little square bill with two treble hooks in real close proximity to each other. If that fish would do something, you know, it would be real easy to get hooked. So that's the main reason why I use one. It also allows me to weigh the fish without having to put the hook of the scale either up in the gills or punch a hole in the mouth, so you're not damaging the fish any. Well, we're starting to get this fish wore down finally. This thing is just taking us on a ride all around the corner of this lake here. This is a city park pond I'm fishing. It's a fairly decent sized lake, and they stock these trout in the spring and fall. They get them from a private fish hatchery. These are not stocked by the Fish and Game. These are stocked by one of the family members who donated this land where this park is. So if at all possible, I usually try and release these fish so that they get their money's worth out of them. Multiple people get to catch them, but there is a lot of people that like to eat them. Trout's not one of my favorite fish to eat, so I just as soon give somebody else a chance to catch, especially a big trophy trout like this. This fish is big. Normally we don't have a lot of trout fishing in Nebraska. Most of it's in the northern areas of the state where the fish can live throughout the whole year, especially up in the northwest corner. But this is just a big trout right here. I get it in, I'm like, whoa, that is a monster. I'm hooked right in the corner of the mouth there, just nipping at the back of that bait, which is good. He didn't swallow it, so this fish will be good to go. Be able to release this fish without too much worry about it. I'm just gonna get a weight here, a weight and a length, so we know how big it is. If we can find the scale. My tackle bag is a mess. Just keep throwing stuff in there. But finally got the scale, got it zeroed out. We'll get a weight on it. Fish not wanting to hold still very well, but the scale is locked in at this point at 10.78 pounds. So it's a 10 3/4 pound trout. Which I'm fairly certain is my biggest trout. I've caught, it comes in at 27 inches. I've caught another trout that was 27 inches before, but it wasn't as fat as this one. As I take this fish and put it back in the water for a while here, get it some oxygen before I come back and get some video with this fish. These trout are pretty fragile, so I usually try and give them a dip before I mess with them too long. Let's get some video so I can get a picture of me with this fish here, and then I take it back over, and this is a big female. Put her back in the lake. I think somebody said a lady caught it like a week or two later. I think she probably kept it, but said it was on the news or in the paper or something. Not sure it was exactly the same fish, but very well could have been this fish. But I get this fish revived a little bit, and she's good to go. Definitely have to spend some time reviving these fish after you catch them, because they fight really hard. They give it their all trying to get away. Pretty much wear themselves out. But got her released. She's good to go. At this point, I am getting ready to leave. Actually, I had switched baits. I switched over to a little, like 1/8 ounce jig head with a 2 or 3 inch shad swim bait on it. I actually went up in the shallow corner trying to catch some bass. It was December, and I was wanting to get my bass total up a little bit, and I could tell right away that this was not a bass. This was another big trout. I was actually kind of annoyed at first because I was getting hungry and I was wanting to leave, and I was wanting to catch a bass. And then after fighting this thing for a while and seeing how big it was, I was pretty happy. I got some people behind me watching me fight this thing, and there's a walk trail around this lake, and so there's always people coming around, seeing you fishing and stuff. I was a little worried. I had a bunch of weeds on my line because it's real shallow up in this corner, and I was afraid this fish might get off with this light jig head on there. It's just a single hook on there. Again, this fish, just like the first one, takes me for a ride. Back and forth across this end of the lake here. So I start to look for my fish grippers. Gotta have my faithful fish gripper here. This fish comes up along the bank. Kinda hard to open this tackle bag with one hand, but managed to get it started and just keep pushing on it. Find the fish grippers. Now this trout is not ready yet. These things they're a handful. You want to have some good gear if you're going after trout this size. Definitely need a reel with a good drag on it. I suppose you could just back reel if your reel is capable of. Some of them will have a lever where you can switch it over in a back reel. That way you don't have to rely on the drag. Your line doesn't end up getting all twisted like if you use the drag system, but this Akuma reel's got a pretty good drag on it, so. And it's December at this point, so I'll have plenty of time to change the line out over the winter. We finally get this fish wore down. And the people that have been watching me are surprised that there's fish that size in there. This fish was really wide. It's a big male here. So I get the scale out to weigh this one. I don't think I get a very good look at the scale with my GoPro on this one, but this one's 9.38 pounds. I actually couldn't find my tape measure to get a measurement on this one. Pretty sure it was fairly close to the other one. Maybe a ½ inch shorter or something. Get this fish a little time here in the water before I get some video of me with this fish. So it ended up being not the fire day, but it was a really big fish day. Got 2 trout that together weighed over 20 pounds. You can see the big male there. Thing almost looks like a salmon. So big around. Just another monster trout, which turned a really slow day into a really epic day, catching these 2 big monster fish. Get this fish back in the water, get it revived again. This fish is released also so someone else can enjoy the fight that it gave me, maybe make somebody else's day. And here's just a few of the pictures, snapshots of the video I took. It's a big male. Pretty epic day. 2 of my biggest trout ever. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.